Hello everybody, welcome to JLABTV. I'm JLAB and this is Football Manager 2016, the Unemployment Challenge, and we went through February and March, so let's see how we got on in all those competitions and see if we got to the semi-final of the FA Cup for the second year running. Our first game was away from home against Everton and we went 1-0 down inside the 43rd minute of the game when Robert scored the opening goal for his 7th goal of the season to give Everton a 1-0 lead. And it was in the 66th minute of the game that we found ourselves going 2-0 down when Diaz managed to get through the defence and score that effort. My defenders not doing their job properly there. We did manage to get a goal back in the 81st minute of the game with Lefonse found Ramos, who found the back of the net, but it wasn't enough to stop us from losing the game, despite all the possession and chances we had on goal. It was rather disappointing, it has to be said. Our next game was at home to Fulham and we found ourselves going 1-0 up in the second minute of the game when Ramos was able to get on the end of that bad clearance to give us the lead with his 6th goal of the season. And it was just 17 minutes later we found ourselves going 2-0 up when David was able to cross the ball in for Fisher, who found Ramos to make it 2-0. Fisher's first assist of the season and Ramos' second of the game and 7th of the season. It was made 3-0 in the 27th minute of the game when Ramos was able to find Shah, who probably shouldn't have been allowed to have the shot, let alone have 2 attempts, but he scored for his 5th of the season without effort. It was in the 50th minute of the game that Fulham did get a goal back. Barber found Dishant and Hepburn Murphy somehow managed to get an end of that for his 3rd of the season, but it wasn't enough to get Fulham back into the game, for we managed to win by 3-1. Our next game was in the FA Cup against Sheffield Wednesday, and it was just 6 minutes into the game we were 1-0 up, when Ramos found the back of the net with that effort for his 4th goal in 3 matches. However, Wednesday were able to get the equaliser and to ensure that the game went to a replay, and Farine found Virgili, and he got his 16th goal of the season to ensure that this match went to a replay, much to my own disappointment. Our next match was away to Arsenal. We were 1-0 down into the second minute when Martial scored the opening penalty after they were given a penalty in the first minute of the game. And it was just 11 minutes later in the 13th minute of the match that we found ourselves going 2-0 down when Martial was able to get on the end of that. I don't know how he was able to get past McCrory, but he did. It was made even worse for us from this corner when Caparelli managed to put the ball into his own net, much to my own disappointment. We did get a goal back though, however, when Gray played this ball in. It caught the keeper out because he didn't keep hold of it, and Ramos was able to get his 4th goal in a matter of games. However, it was 4-1 before the end of the half. Bellerin was able to cross the ball in and Martial finished off his hat-trick to ensure that we were not going to enjoy our visit to the Emirates. Still, we did have the last laugh, however, when David found Fisher, and Fisher found his way into the penalty area and scored his 1st ever goal for Macclesfield Town since joining us from Aston Villa. We still lost 4-2 though, and it was really disappointing. Our next game was away from home against West Bromwich Albion, and we found ourselves going 1-0 down when Osoni scored the opening goal of the game, his 18th of the season. And it was in the 47th minute of the game that we found ourselves going 2-0 down. Marconi made an absolute cock up with his pass, and Osoni scored again, like a 2-0, and to ensure we didn't enjoy our trip to the Hawthorns. Our next game was away from home against Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup, and Tadic found Gray, who found the back of the net in the 13th minute of the game to get the only goal of the match against his former club to ensure we were through to the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Even if Wednesday came back in the second half to have chances, they just couldn't break us down enough, and we took the victory. Hooray! Our next game was at home to Leeds United, and it was just 4 minutes into the match that Shah found Ramirez, who found the back of the net to get his 7th goal of the season. It was a perfect start. In the 17th minute of the game, we found ourselves going 2-0 when Caparelli scored after getting on the end of Hassan's free kick. It was in the 37th minute of the game that we found ourselves going 3-0 up when Valverde had his shot saved by Romero, and Gray was on the end of it to put in the rebound, his 6th of the season. And it was in the 75th minute of the game that we found ourselves going 4-0 up when Caparelli scored his 2nd of the game. A defender getting 2 goals is a very rare occurrence indeed. But we managed to get the 4-0 win and ensure that we had a very good time against Leeds United. Our next match was the FA Cup 6th round game against Rotherham United, and we found ourselves going 1-0 up when Gabriel Ramos scored his 10th goal of the season in the 14th minute of the game. However, Rotherham United did not make it easy for us. Clark found Lofty, who has so much space to play the cross in, and Thomas got on the end of the cross to make it 1-0, his second of the season. But we managed to get the winning goal in the 70th minute of the game. When Gray found Lafrançais, he found Ramirez, who found the back of the net for his 8th goal of the season to ensure we were going through to a second FA Cup semi-final in 2 years. Our last game of March was at home to Brentford, and I thought, okay, this should be an easy win. It wasn't. Chizquez scored his 15th of the season to give Brentford the lead in the 21st minute of the match, and we found ourselves equalising in the 51st minute of the game. Lafrançais found Wilson, who found the back of the net, a bit fortuitously it must be said, for his 8th goal of the season. But we couldn't get the winning goal, despite our best efforts. We had 15 chances compared to their 6, but only 5 of our chances were actually on target, which is really disappointing as far as I was concerned. At least we avoided defeat, I suppose. So this is the table at the end of March, and Reading already being relegated sums up just how merciless we can be in the Premier League. Brentford are already on the verge of being relegated themselves, and it looks like Liverpool could actually gently join them. They have a game in hand over Watford, but they're 5 points behind them, meaning they need to really sort themselves out soon if they are to survive in the Premier League this season. And unless they want to do what Everton did a few times in the save and get relegated, they really need to get a few more wins. The top half finish is a realistic target as far as I'm concerned. We've already got past the 40-point mark, and we're 8 points away from what we did last season, which was 51 points. I like to avoid having a very bad end of the season like we did last year. We didn't win in the last 6, but I'm certain we can get more than 51 points this season. And we just need to really improve our defence potentially, because we've got the 7th best attack, but 16th worst defence or something like that. It's ridiculous. But yes, I'm certain we can get ourselves in a good position. Norwich beat Chelsea in the Capital One Cup final to ensure they were going to get into Europa League at least next season. Chelsea's manager was actually sacked at the end of that match. I considered applying, but decided no, not the time for that. Chelsea have 2 games in hand on us at the moment, so I can't see us staying above Chelsea for long in the league. It would be funny if we did actually end up finishing above them, but I just can't see it happening, quite frankly. But yes, it's a good looking table. I think we can finish in the top half. Whether we can finish in the top 7 to get European football next year, I'm not so sure at the moment, I must confess. But I'm happy with how the season's gone so far. As long as we avoid finishing the bottom half of the table like we did last season, that was considered a successful season. But I am going to end this video here. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Hope you like and favourite this video, and that you will subscribe to my channel. It will really help me a lot. So anyway, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.